This is a song that we traditionally open our 9 a.m. service with, and it just allows you to sink down into that peaceful place. So I invite you to do just that, to let everything go and just let the peace happen. And you're also invited to sing along. In the quiet, I am still. I surrender to be filled. Perfect love heals every fear. As I rest in silence here. In the quiet, truth is known. As I think it, so it goes. Light illuminates my way, and what is mine to do and say. In the quiet, I am free. All I seek now comes to me. I rejoice that it is true. Filled with light, I am renewed. Filled with light, I am renewed.
Thanks, Connie. I haven't heard that song in a long time. It's so nice to hear it again. Good morning, friends. So glad to have you here with us this morning as we continue this month's study theme, which is harvesting inner peace. And we are doing this intentionally, aren't we? Like, it's time for us to really give thought and intention and power to finding inner peace. There's a lot that has happened over the last few months. There's a lot that will happen over the next few months. We know that. We also know that we have the tools to be able to make our way through this. We know that we are capable. We've been planning for whatever was going to happen in our world. All of these tools we've been picking up, some of us for decades. Those are the tools we need right now, and they are in the inner toolbox. We just need to pull them out. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how we store things on the inside. I don't know what happens for you guys. I shared in the e-blast this week that I have a sign in my bedroom, and I see it when I wake up. It's one of the first things I see, and it says, "Slow down. Happiness is trying to catch you." And that's really an important thing for me because I have a tendency to move very fast through life. Some of you have heard me talk about how our children, when they walk, when they first learn to walk, their head is bigger than their body. Do you remember that? And when they walk, they lean with their head forward, and then they fall over until they learn to balance that big thing that's up on top of them, on top of their shoulders. Well, some of us, and I admit to being one of those, keep our head bigger than our body most of our lives. We spend most of our lives living in this space right here and not a lot of space down in the wholeness of ourselves. So what I want to talk about today in regard to harvesting inner peace is how you live in a whole way in this body, from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, and then out into that auric field space, that energetic space that is so much bigger than just this body. So this body we use a lot of times when we're living up here, we use this body as a warehouse. It's where we store things. We keep a lot of things down underneath this level where we don't have to look at them unless they happen to creep up or something gets overflowing. Like sometimes below our neck, we can be holding a lot of grief and loss. And until we have a current experience with grief, we don't tap into what's held down in the body. Having that door open because of grief and loss can open the inner file cabinet, and suddenly the inner file cabinet is overflowing with loss. And we can be really surprised at how deep those feelings are. It can happen around all kinds of things. We have files for anger. We have files for fear. We have files for loss. We have files for frustration. We have a lot going on inside of us, a whole lifetime of experience. So I don't know what you keep in your inner file cabinet. I've been kind of watching you. You know, some of you are saying you keep story ideas. Some of the things you've shared, some of the things you want to throw away, like files of non-acceptance. I saw that River keeps her good old rock and roll songs in her inner file cabinet. That's a good thing. There are things here that you have noticed. I keep things like, who gave me that item? That's Mark will say, she can remember, she may not remember anything else, but I'll remember. If you gave me something, I will remember where it came from. Who gave, oh, don't give that to the ark. Don't give that to the ark. Your son gave that to you. That's not a good idea. I remember that stuff. I have a file for each of my children. I have a file for my husband. I have a file for childhood memories and my first broken heart. I have files for things that I want to do in the future and files for things that I don't want to forget in the past. And what all of that stuff does for me is when I close my eyes and I want to settle into the inner temple, sometimes I have to walk through the warehouse first. Does that happen to you? That when you want to go to the inner temple, you find yourself meandering through the warehouse with all the file cabinets, and slowly you get distracted by, oh, geez, that file cabinet is open. What's in there? You're trying to relax, and something that you really don't want to look at right now pops out of the file cabinet at you. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about why we're afraid to let go of things. What is it that we gain by holding on to all the inner memories? So one of the things that we gain is control, right? How many of you have said this? Just raise your hand. I will never let that happen again. Yeah, right? How's that going to work for you? You have to never forget that it happened in the first place. For the rest of your life, you have to remember whatever that yucky thing was. Really? Do you want to do that? What do you want to remember? What do you want to hold inside? You know, there's a meme on Facebook that I laugh about that, talks about, of course I'm this size. Can you imagine all the things I'm holding inside after all these years? I have a lot of wisdom in here, right? How much are you holding that you don't need, that gets in the way of joy? What is it you could release? In a little while, we're going to do a meditation together, and I'm going to help you release. But let's talk about how you do it on your own first, because you're going to find things that you're holding. Stories of a spouse, stories of a child, stories of an angry neighbor, stories of a bad experience that you had. Stories of self-judgment are the biggest ones, aren't they? The judgment that we passed against ourselves as children that are not even applicable to who we are as adults. But we've made decisions about who we are. I'm no good at math. How many of you have an I'm no good at story? something that you learned when you were a kid. I'm not good at that. So I'm going to remember that I'm not good at that. Well, what if you've learned to be good at it? What if you've developed skills that allow you to be good at it? What if that decision, I'm not good at that, isn't valid anymore? It's really important for us to clean out the inner file cabinets because they get in the way of the connection between us and our God, however you call that God, whatever it is that you use, Great Spirit, quantum field, whatever, however you frame that divine presence, I promise you, your inner file cabinet is full of things that tell you you're not worthy to be one with that. So in order to create that oneness, that deep, powerful connection, that circuit between you and the holy that allows it to move in you, as you, and all around you, it's really important to get rid of the things you don't need anymore. The judgments that get in the way of you peacefully living in this form and peacefully living in this world as it is today. Exactly as it is. Because the only thing stopping us from living in peace today is believing that today should be different than it is. That we are here because we're supposed to express constant happiness rather than we are here to grow and learn. That's what we're doing right now. We are in a powerful, powerful time of growing and learning, and we're getting a huge gift. We are receiving time for self-reflection. And boy, some of us are working as hard as we can to get away from that. Because self-reflection is challenging. We have to go through the inner file cabinets. Have to clean some things out. Figure out who we are. Figure out who we want to be. Figure out what we don't need anymore. So, step one is slow down. This is a good bit of advice for all of us every day, because we're all going pretty darn fast in our world. Slow down. Slow down and consider what is running through your mind. Actually notice what you're thinking, because you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are generated in your mind. They are not the whole of your being. They are simply thoughts, and you don't have to take them as truth. In fact, we think so many things the same way that we thought them the day before and the day before and the day before. When we start to catch those things and change them, our life changes dramatically. So slow down and question, what am I thinking about? How many times in the last 24 hours have I said, I hate that the world is like this right now? This is awful. This sucks. What are you thinking over and over that is programming your experience? What if you got up thinking differently? What if you programmed something more beneficial as your first thoughts of the day, or your last thoughts of the day, or your middle thoughts of the day? You are not your thoughts. You are also not your dog's thoughts. So if your dog is telling you that you are wonderful and amazing, you have to ask yourself, most seriously, if you believe you're wonderful and amazing. Your dog doesn't get to be the judge of that. You have to be the judge. Or your cat. Although cats do this differently, don't they? I see you, Pat, Walla. She's like, you have to remember how cats act. The point is, it's good to slow down and notice what we're thinking, and notice if our thoughts are serving us or not. That's a first step toward those inner file cabinets, because those thoughts that are coming up, they're coming up from your storage room, from your warehouse. So when a thought comes up, it's like any other file. You get to say, wow, that's a really good file. I want to put that in that very important file cabinet. Or that's a terrible thought. Why am I even remembering that? Let's pitch that file. I don't need that for anything anymore. Slow down. Step 2 is to simplify. Step 2 is to ask yourself, how complex are your thoughts? How complex have you made your life? Are you thinking yourself through every day what's happening in your budget? Or have you written your budget down? You know what it is. You can now set it aside. All you have to do is live in it. Sometimes out of fear, we process ourselves over and over through the same thing again and again to make sure we don't screw it up. And it takes a tremendous amount of our inner resource. How we're going to get along with a specific person, how we're going to get some specific thing done. It's a little OCD, you know. We're a little obsessive compulsive about some things. Just notice what they are. Notice what it is that you're holding on to and ask yourself, why am I thinking about this over and over? What do I get out of thinking about this over and over? The flip side of that is procrastinating. So when you procrastinate, then you do get to think about things over and over, don't you? Because I haven't done it, so I can't forget it. I have to keep remembering it. I have to remind myself not to forget to do that thing I don't want to do anyway. Simplifying is get it done. Just do what you can do so that you can put that thing down. What would happen if you didn't have something that you have to be thinking about? If your brain could be clear and you weren't having to worry or be in fear or stress about something, what would happen? You would experience something new. It might be boredom. How many of you have had some boredom recently? A couple, right? So it might be boredom. You might experience boredom. Gosh, okay, you can survive that. Then you have to ask yourself, what would I like to do right now? What would bring me happiness? Maybe I want to paint, or maybe I want to walk, or maybe I want to sew something, or maybe I want to fix the motorcycle, or whatever it is. Whatever that is, you have to ask yourself in your bored place, what would I like? It's a hugely important question most of us don't ask. We ask what we have to do. What do we have to do today? Not, gosh, I have some free time today. What would I like to do? Some of us don't have a clue. This is part of that great opportunity for personal growth. Imagine if you could figure out what you would like to do, how much happier the next decade of your life would be. Because you could make time for that, and you could do it. You could do it. You would find out what you value, what really makes you feel alive and good. Now, there are some things that are harder to do right now than they are at other times. But we're finding innovative ways, aren't we? We're finding ways to sit together in social distance. We're finding ways electronically to see each other. We're watching music live. We're watching Broadway in our living room. We are eating differently. We're listening to music we haven't listened to in a long time. We're opening up photo albums and looking at things and remembering people. We're doing things we haven't done in a long time. And we're remembering what we like to do. What if one of the great outcomes of this experience we're having is to find greater joy? that we deepen our connection to the divine, and we come out on the other side of this happier human beings. We can, we can. It's a choice. Or we can come out on the other side of this feeling dark and depressed because we didn't take charge of our experience. We let Facebook be in charge of our experience, or the 6 o'clock news, or whatever it is. Let's make something out of this that's worthwhile. Let's simplify. Find what we like and do a little bit of that every day. Slow down. Simplify. Unclutter. So inside of you is an inner file cabinet. If you're like me, you have a whole warehouse. I could never fit all of those things in one file cabinet. What do we need to keep? What can be done? What have we kept in our physical file cabinet that needs to go, that would attach itself, a memory would attach itself to? So I'm thinking as I'm talking, I'm thinking, I have a file cabinet for one of my kids who had a tough time in junior high. I have a file for that, for notes that came home from school and all of that. I physically still have the file. Now my youngest is in college, so it's been at least 4 years, and it's not that child. So it's been a lot more than 4 years that I've been carrying this file cabinet this file in my file cabinet. When I open my file cabinet, how do you think I feel about that file? Blah. Well, you're right. Good face, Chris. So why am I holding on to the physical file? As we unclutter our lives, I'm going to sneeze, maybe. As we unclutter our lives, hold on. So nice that I can have a mute button. As we unclutter our lives and we get rid of things that no longer bring us joy, that maybe were utilitarian and useful for us at some time, but are no longer necessary and no longer bring us joy, as we do that, we also clear out things from the inside that we don't have to go back to. We don't have to worry about running into a physical thing that's going to send us scurrying to an inner file we don't want to remember anymore, that doesn't serve anything. So when we think about uncluttering our lives, we don't always think about the triggers that we're clearing. Really important to look at your life through that lens. What do I need to keep? How do I feel when this thing surfaces in my house? If it doesn't serve you anymore, let it go. And I want to say this to you. Probably one of the most important things that I have picked up in teaching Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus program, and many of you have taken that program with me. One of the really important things that she offers is that we reevaluate the things we're holding on to because we might need them in the future. I'm keeping that because, it's 2 sizes smaller and I might wear it someday. Or it's 2 sizes larger and maybe I'll need it one day. Or I'm keeping that because, I might have 27 people at dinner sometime and I might need it. So what Mary teaches, and I concur with wholeheartedly, is where is your faith that the universe will provide what you need when you need it? What are you holding because you might need it that you could let go of, and if you did, someone else would be able to use it in a powerful way. It would bless someone else's life. Where is your faith that what you need will always be available to you? Maybe that hasn't been your life experience yet. So don't be too hard on yourself as I'm saying this. It's something for you to think about, something for you to consider. Because when we unclutter on the outside, we create space on the inside. And as that inner space opens up, when we go into meditation or we're silent, instead of files popping open and our brain being filled with all kinds of things that we don't need, we go straight to the inner sanctuary. We go straight into a place of calm. We have the opportunity to relax and to open our mind and to let Spirit and the wisdom of Spirit flow through us. So if you have a hard time answering the question, what would I like to do? Wouldn't it be nice if Spirit could go, hey, you love doing this. Try that. Wouldn't it be nice if we could find those inner reflections that remind us who we are and what we bring into the world and what brings us joy? So I want to invite you to close your eyes, to settle into your chair wherever you are, and to just breathe, to envision in that inner sanctuary that there is a room of file cabinets. Now, I am a person who believes in doing things the easy and effortless way. So rather than trying to go through every single file, I want to invite you to open the door to that room and to notice that the file cabinets are opening. And as they do, one at a time, files that are not necessary for you, not useful for you, are simply releasing. You may see it as information, you may see it as smoke, you may simply feel it. You don't have to know what it is. We're asking the divine to do this work. Only files that you don't need. Remember that there are some things that we keep because we want to process through them, because we want to heal. But these are files that don't serve you any longer. Just allow drawers to open and things to be released. And as that energy is released, understand that it's taken into the heart of the holy. We don't release energy willy-nilly into the world, but we actually release it to the divine presence so that the energy that we've held there can be transformed into something beneficial in the world. Just allow things that are not necessary to go. Trust that the divine presence within you, moving you, living you, knows what is necessary and what is not. And allow your files to become lighter. Notice how, as things are released, file cabinets begin to move out of the picture and condense, so there are fewer cabinets altogether. And notice how the files that you keep feel light. Notice a bit of a glow around them. All these things that glow, they serve you. Getting your attention serves you. It helps you to open more deeply to your authentic soul. Helps you to know yourself better, to live into your divine purpose, which can change, you know. Our divine purpose early in life is different than our divine purpose in the middle of our life or later in our life. As you allow these things to clear, begin also to be aware that there is a clear path ahead of you. A clear path from where you are directly to your inner heart. To the heart space that is not about the organ, to the heart space that is the sanctuary of God, by whatever name you use. Allow yourself to move toward that space, knowing that your files will be sorted and cleared, allowing that to continue as it needs to be done, And as you move towards the inner sanctuary, remember that we are not clearing your memories. We are clearing the emotions that are not necessary. We are allowing for healing to happen spontaneously so that you have more space, more inner space for the divine, more inner space for peace, more inner space for joy, more inner space for being, just being, not doing. Allow the walls of your inner sanctuary to expand a bit. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just feel the walls expand a little bit. Make yourself a little bit more room inside your life. Notice how the lights are a little brighter in that space, how the love is a little clearer, stronger. Allow yourself to be totally immersed in that love, to feel surrounded by it, to feel it move through every cell of your being, to feel it clear your mind and your heart, removing from every cell of your body anything that doesn't serve you. Allowing every cell to come to health and wholeness, boosting your immune system, bringing you strength, invigorating your imagination, inspiring your breath, bringing you to health and wholeness. Take a deep breath in, release. Gently open your eyes, and as you do, as you open your eyes, notice that you feel lighter. Notice that what you have released lightens your sense of being. You can do this practice. This is not a hard practice. Let Spirit do the work for you. Let Spirit do it. The power and the energy and the work can be done much more easily than we sometimes like to believe. So let this happen as a practice every day this week. Take a little time to open up the file cabinets and get rid of some stuff. Make some space for you, for joy, for happiness. And so it is.
Ariana asked me to sing this song this morning, and you probably are just going to have to sing along, whether you want to sing or not. It's just one of those kinds of songs, and it's about that peaceful sense of happiness. And so just go for it. Nobody can hear you, right? Slow down, you move too fast. You gotta make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello lamppost, what you knowin'? I've come to watch your flowers growin'. Ain't you got no rhymes for me? Do-do-do, feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. I got no deeds to do, no promises to keep. I'm gambled and drowsy and ready to sleep. Let the morning time drop all its bells on me. Life, I love you, oh, and all is groovy.
I love that song. Thank you for singing it. I don't very often ask for a certain song, but that felt like the right song for today. There's a quote I want to share with you. It's a John F. Kennedy quote. It says, "Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly ending old barriers, quietly building new structures." And I say that to you because we are in the process of learning how to be at peace when we have many challenges, right? We are learning. We are learning. And that, my friends, that learning, we are here to do. Our souls long to learn, to gain wisdom, to expand. There is a supreme divine presence living through us. Imagine what it takes to stay entertained when you have that much wisdom. There's a lot happening for us. And we are one with that divine consciousness. And we are growing and wisening and turning up the light of love in the world. And that's what we came to do. And that's why this community is so powerful and so important. Because we understand the technology of this. We understand that we are not our thoughts, that our thoughts are a tool we use. We understand who we really are. We may not quite know how to stand in that. We may be working every day to become more and more the expression of the divine. But we know that that's what we're working on. And the work that this community does is incredibly important in changing the whole frequency of the planet. That little group of people that we think that we are a powerfully big heart in the world. And we are every day making the world better for each other, better for those that are around us, better for those that are not close at all. So our prayer chaplains have been calling twice a month And now you're starting to get stronger. And they have let me know that they feel very comfortable going back to 1 call a month, that you are strong and capable. And what they're hearing from you is that you're ready for that. So they are going back to once a month. Chris and I let you know last week that we're going back to some normal office hours because you're stronger. And you've been calling when you needed us, and the calls are not as many. So we believe that you are ready. Don't miss that. We don't miss it. We see how much strength has been gained by this community, how we're all growing and learning and becoming deeper in love with life. Doesn't mean there aren't challenges. It means we recover more quickly. We find our way through. And one of the ways that we do that is by seeing each other's faces every week, by remembering that we are doing this together. We're not doing this alone. We may be doing it in separate space, but we are doing this together, and we are staying strong together. And we are continuing to connect with one another each week through this, through our classes, through many different activities, through our prayer chaplain calls, through our care team work, through our work for Westside Cares, which has been spectacular. The support that you have offered to Westside Cares is fantastic. We a few weeks ago did some, I guess it's been about a month ago now, did some work for our Gambellon refugee camp, got them some soap and some washing powder, and they are happy because it's a health issue for them. That is helping them. They are now asking for some help with their soccer team. A couple of years ago, we outfitted their soccer team, got them some jerseys, got them some tennis shoes, got them some new soccer balls. They lasted until about 2 weeks ago. And about 2 weeks ago, they kicked the last soccer ball into a thorn tree. So they are without soccer balls right now because the last one, they have some trees that have really big thorns, and they punctured the last soccer ball. So we're going to do some fundraising to help their soccer team again. It's an interesting thing to think about how important play is when you're in a place like that. How important it is and what it builds for these young people, specifically for young men who are in their late teens and early 20s and need to do something with the energy that they have. It's not like they can go out and get a job. It's not like that in the refugee camp. So they haul a little water, they dig a couple holes, sometimes they work on a building to help each other, but they have a lot of time. And playing, moving, all of that helps them to get the endorphins up in their body, keeps them feeling like they have a skill they can improve on, gives them something to look forward to and a way to work together. So if you would like to make a contribution to do everything they need, is about $235. So it's not a lot. If we all contribute a little bit, it's very easy to do. If you would like to make a contribution, you can do that. Chris, can they do that through the website, through the donate button? And you can just mark on there that it's for soccer, and we'll know.
There is an option. So I'm going to post the link in the chat box, but you put in the amount that you want, and then next to that, it says general fund. There's a down arrow next to the general fund. If you click on that, you can select refugees, so it gets designated directly.
Awesome. Perfect. So we'll do that in the next week. If you would like to help, please feel free, and we'll help them at whatever level we're able to, because we are able to. These things that we're doing are really important. There is a Habitat for Humanity build planned for September or October, depending upon what happens with COVID. So Habitat for Humanity builds homes for people that don't have them, and they put them into the homes at, they call it a hand up instead of a handout. They get people into the homes at a cost they can afford, so eventually they can buy their home at a reasonable cost. And they do that by taking down the labor costs and getting volunteers to help build. So as we get closer to that, and they give us, they're still waiting, they haven't posted a definite date, but they have reached out and asked if we would help. And I know that some of you will be interested in doing that. So you can let Chris know if you'd like to be informed when the Habitat for Humanity build is, and she'll make sure and get some information out as soon as I get it. We'll let you know. There are some great classes being offered. Julia is doing classes on prayer right now. I know some of you have asked me in the past, please watch the e-blast when it comes out so that you see those classes as they're being offered. And I will continue to do Soul Talk Tuesday, which has been fun, till the end of the month. Next week, this Tuesday, I'm talking to Amy Gillespie, which some of you know, because Amy was a member of our Unity Spiritual Community for many years, and she was traveling back and forth to Mozambique and doing some very powerful work there. She has studied the eyes, iridology, and she has done some really profound work. And one of the interesting insights that she's had is that when she looks in the eyes, she sees ancestors and she sees messages from your ancestors, which is really kind of an amazing experience that she's had. So she'll be talking about the ancestors in your eyes and the hidden messages, and what kinds of things might be coming up for you genetically and spiritually that you are not aware of. So that'll be live at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and I hope you'll join us. And if you can't join us live, then we'll post the recording afterwards so that you can take a look at that. We have let you know about our new hours. That's working out well. Chris has got a message, so if you get a message from Chris that says, I'm not in the office, you'll know her hours are on there, and it will remind you when she will be. And we do have a need for a couple of volunteers for lawn mowing. So if you would like to mow the lawn once in a while, if we had 2 people who would do it once a month, it'd be really easy. If you would like to help with that, leave a message on the main line, send Chris an email, we'll get you scheduled. That would help us. It's a couple-hour job, so it's something you want to do earlier in the morning or later in the evening, not at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it's hot. Other than that, we don't have a lot of volunteer shifts to offer you because we're not in the building yet, and there's not a lot that we can do there. But the time will come that we'll be back there, and when we are back, we'll have plenty to do because there's a lot waiting for us when that happens. In the meantime, the last thing I want to let you know about today is that I'll be sending out a survey at the end of the week. I want to find out, again, how are you doing? It's been several months now. What do you need? So please take time to look at that survey and to respond to it. What would inspire you right now? Is there a particular topic you'd like to be talking about? Is there a particular class that you think would be fun? We'll put some choices in because one person wants one class, one person wants another class. We need larger groups for the classes to fill out and be enjoyable. So, and I want to know what you've learned so far in this time that we've spent in change. What are you learning so that we can share it with each other, so that we can talk about those things and continue to grow together? So that'll come out the end of the week. You'll have a couple days to fill it out. I'll send you a reminder if you haven't filled it out right away, and then I'll get back to you and let you know what we learned. It's been a pleasure to have you here today. It is always a great pleasure to see your faces. Let's go to gallery view for a minute, shall we? Just reach up and go to gallery view and look across. Hi, Beth. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Mark. So nice to see you all. April, that little boy is the cutest thing ever. Hi, Derek. Thank you, Derek. Everybody say thank you, Derek. Derek is working hard right now. We have kept our president very hard working for the last few months. Thank you so much for all the stuff you're doing with the house, and that is moving along. Everything is going well. Vernon, Jarla, nice to see you. I love seeing your beautiful homes. I'm like, oh wow, behind Charlotte, that's such a pretty color for your drapes. I always notice these little things. You know, it's just such a good thing to see each other. Such a really, really nice thing. We have people from Texas here. We have people from across the country, people from California, people in Washington. It's just really, really nice to see you all your beautiful faces. So, after service, you'll have the opportunity to go into fellowship if you'd like to do a little chatting with one another. In the meantime, we're going to pray our way out, shall we? So we gather as one heart, and we close as one heart, knowing that the deep connection that we share with one another remains, that it is strong and intact, and that as each of us grows and becomes stronger, we send that strength through the web of life to each other. And as each of us finds a new way to be at peace, we send peace through the web of life to one another. That as we release what is no longer needed, what clutters our mind and our heart and the space within us, that others too more easily release. When we are one, when we think as one and we feel as one and we live as one, all of the work we do on ourselves helps the next person. Because it's all connected, isn't it? So we willfully and willingly allow ourselves to help one another, to be helped by one another, to be woven together as a strong community, as the heart of God, as the heart of the holy expressing in the world. We're grateful for this connection. We're grateful for the sacred space that is beyond our building and the sacred space that is our building. We're grateful for each and every heart gathered here, for our staff that works to hold us strongly and firmly together, for the many blessings that we receive in this time of change. We're grateful. And so it is, and amen.
As we sing our closing song together, as usual, I invite you, if you think of someone this week, if they come to mind, reach out and connect with them. Let the light within you shine. We are all connected. Look into another's eyes. See your light reflected. We are one light, shining souls in harmony. We are one light, shining in unity. Have a blessed week, everyone.